30 for 131 yards and a score and a quarterback rating of 100.8. Lions fall to the Giants 30-17. Tigers get nixed by the Twins 5-4. Matt Boyd had an excellent one-hitter going. Then came the seventh inning. Pinch hitter Joe Mauer, a go-ahead three-run blast in that one. And the Twins win 5-4. They host the Tigers again tonight. 7:10 the first pitch right here on 97.1 The Ticket. Making the Little League World Series for the second consecutive year is Grosse Pointe Wood Shores, and they win their opener 5-4 to Northwest. They next play Sunday at 2 p.m. Cleveland Indians starter and all-star. How about Mr. Bauer, Trevor Bauer? He's out 4 to 6 weeks because of a stress fracture in his right leg. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 97.1theticket.com.
The following is a paid program. The views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Entercom Communications, its sponsors, or affiliates.
Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. Alongside of me, James Lutz.
Good morning, everybody.
How you doing, James?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you.
Sort of, you can't really fill in for Harry, but you can definitely sit in his seat. You know?
I love it. It's like Dad's away, we're here to play, so let's have some fun, guys.
Okay, we'll definitely try to behave ourselves. Hey, you brought in some great guys always. Kevin McClellan, how you doing over there in the far corner? And Kevin always doing new construction. He's doing a ton of remodeling. Lots to talk about in regards to what's going on. We're going to talk about how half of the inventory out there, Kevin, is over 50 years old, or 50% of these homes out there are going to need a ton of work. We'll get to all those numbers. I've got them written down somewhere. And also, Ian Mason, great real estate agent out on the east side. Ian, you do so much work out on Grosse Pointe. And how about that baseball team, man? You've probably got a couple families on that team or something. What's going on out there?
Very nice job. I'm happy to hear it and get the notoriety for the area. So very cool.
Yeah, a little bit of a spotlight on our east side, Grosse Pointe Wood Shores, the baseball team. You know, I was fortunate enough, James, I'm sure you played in a few Little League World Series. I was fortunate enough back in the 78, 79, I think is when I played Holly and Fenton. It was fun. I never got out of those cities, and for these boys to be kicking it in Williamsport's pretty cool.
Oh, I could only imagine, man. We did a lot of awesome trips as a kid with travel ball, and never made it to the Little League World Series, but we had the Cooperstown tournament.
There you go.
A lot of out-of-state tournaments, so these kids are having the time of their life, and we're happy for them.
Yeah, definitely. Kurt Bart, I believe, is the coach out there. Kurt, keep it up and keep those kids safe and bring home a big trophy. That would be awesome if somehow they can get there all the way. Well, good stuff here. And again, we always have so much going on here in Southeast Michigan, which is really cool. Of course, our state is jamming. It's been with the rebirth of the city of Detroit. It's spread out to the suburbs. It took us a while to get out of that recession we were in, but boy, are we jamming. We're going to be talking all morning long about mortgages and purchasing, and if you buy that house, how much money you might have left, and maybe some other ideas on how to get that purchase agreement accepted.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of the things, James, that we always run across, and Ian will tell you, always difficult to maybe get your offer to stand out in front of some of the other offers.
Yeah, absolutely right. And there's a lot of ways you can go about standing out. And when you work with a great agent and a great mortgage company, you have a strong offer, and your agent knows how to negotiate and work the deal, you can get them done.
Yeah, absolutely. And you get that a strong approval letter. You're able to contact listing agents. And Ian, I'm the king of the communication thing. And I think I'm doing the opposite of what the mortgage industry is trying to do. Is they're trying to dummy down everyone. If you're out there listening, yeah, this is the show you want to give us a call. 248-539-9797. Call us at Capital Mortgage Funding all weekend long. 1-800-LOW-RATE. I mean, the key is to really get educated on this process. I think it just makes everything so much smoother if you have that approval and you really know the steps in the process.
It's important to be prepared. You got to have a good pre-approval letter. It needs to be recent. It needs to be from somebody respectable and somebody with a good reputation. There's nothing, as a listing agent, I mean, there's nothing worse than receiving a pre-approval letter from, Acme Mortgage across town or whatever. So that's definitely where it begins. And, as far as getting offers accepted, you need to work real hard on keeping the contingency short, fast, and large deposits and strong offers. Fast.
I like all that stuff. Fast is always good. And as fast as we want to get the approvals out there, Harry's been mentioning it all throughout the summer. Some of the sellers, though, have had trouble because of the lack of inventory lack of inventory, definitely finding that next place, whether you're an empty nester and you're looking to downsize, or you're a family, willing to sell your house and then you got to move up to that. Let's say you had a starter home and now you're looking between 250 and 300. That market's really tough. There's just so limited.
It's a relative issue, right? I mean, you have the hottest seller's market in the last 20 years. You're going to get the most money for your house now that you've seen, in the last 10, 15, 20 years, but you have the same problem when you go to purchase. So, I mean, if possible, the way to do it is to get a pre-approval letter, get a second mortgage, and then sell the other house if possible. You can work it out with different occupancy and possession agreements and things like that, but that ends up putting you in a corner and you're going to have to purchase what's on the market at that time. So in my business, to me, that's what keeps me up at night. That's probably the most stressful thing out there, is getting someone from one house to the next.
Yeah.
So
that comes down to being creative, though, isn't it? I mean, you gotta be creative to get the deal done. You got to work with a lender that's creative, like James, because that gives you the upper hand compared to everybody else. When you have 20 people coming after two properties or one property in these areas with the way the market is,
right?
It?
Well, someone like James or Capital in general, I mean, they need to be professional. They need to do exactly what they're going to say, and they need to do it fast. And you guys come through over and over and over again.
Like you said, the people that help the most are the people that care the most, and that's why we stay up late at night. That's why we can't sleep. We care,
right?
And this is, at night, I'm thinking about all these different steps and what I can do and how I can help somebody and how I can be different and stand out. And I don't just sit back and wait for deals to work themselves out.
My clients laugh at me. They get emails at like 3:45 in the morning, 4:15 or whatever.
What do you
doing?
guys do? What do you guys do? You guys, I rarely hear about a shortfall appraisal with your company and with Ian and James. And I sell about 20 of my own properties a year, and I just got crushed on a couple appraisals.
Oh boy,
yeah.
Well, I haven't had that. I mean, we haven't had that recently. I don't want to jinx it. We usually when it's talked about, that's interesting because the values have been up and the comps they're using are from now May and June, and you're seeing recent sales being used. I'm surprised. What were those price ranges on those homes?
One of them I had under contract at $172,000 in East Point, so you're pushing the limit in that area. Then 100 was another surprising one, was a $125,000 3-bedroom home in northern St. Clair Shores that came in light. Back within 2 days, 17,000 whack on one and 7,000 whack on the other. So that was a great night, to get that.
Oh boy, those are tough.
Information. So we fought the one, we were able to get it raised. The other one I couldn't. But I think it comes down to possibly the lender, the appraisal company that they uses, and it's just I hang out with you guys all the time, and you guys rarely have an appraisal issue with Capital Mortgage.
I'm always anxious to learn something new, and I don't mean to put anybody on the spot, but I mean, I see appraisals. You get an appraiser. We're in the Detroit area, and I got a guy from Lansing, and even Dearborn. I mean, it's the other side of the city. I mean, they don't know or understand the neighborhood, the area, and what's going on recently.
I'm glad you brought that up, actually. You mentioned like a local lender. I mean, if you're dealing with out-of-state lender, I think that's the no-no. I mean, I just don't see how that works. Now, if it's a couple states and you have some expertise in it, but my expertise is here in Michigan, and you do want to see that the local lenders are dealing with this, because when you deal with an out-of-state lender,
not even they
don't know who the appraiser companies are. I don't even know if they know the regions.
I don't want to say anything too controversial, and I don't know exactly what names or this or that I can use, but there's a non-out-of-state lender that consistently has big issues with this type of stuff, and a lot of people go to them, and it's probably the most black box, unworkable, and frankly rude company you could deal with.
We can't say their name out loud, but definitely.
I didn't think so. Let's just say it's not exactly a fast process. So I mean, and this is, you see it a lot, and it's when it comes down to like what Kevin was talking about with having a couple of shortfalls, it really comes down to the lender's willingness to work on it and their connection with the appraisal management company and the appraiser, and of course know-how. But as far as going back, one of those worked out well for you, didn't it? In the end,
yeah, we got one raised. I mean, again, and it really not to beat a dead horse, but working with an experienced realtor, an experienced lender like you guys, it makes a huge. I'm dealing with the one that I couldn't get raised right now, and I mean, it's just the realtor I'm working with. Just I don't think is pulling the right strings. I don't think is fighting it properly. I don't think is listen, for me, you better be turning over every rock trying to get on my investment that appraisal raised. Right. I don't care about every other deal that's going on that person has going on. I care about mine, and a $17,000 shortfall in my investment that's going to hurt me.
Kevin, that's a big thing that you do. Let me throw it out there. 1-800-LOW-RATE Capital Mortgage Funding here in the studio. 248-539-9797. Talk to real guys that do mortgages and real estate. Kevin, what you do is really serious stuff. You see a lot of this going on TV. You do the rehabs. You're in there remodeling these homes. You're spending a lot of money, and a lot of times you're the one who is the beginning of making everyone else in the neighborhood wealthier, because now you've fixed up that house that was in horrible shape. You took that $125,000 house. Now it can sell for $160,000, $170,000 because you brought it where it needs to be now. You've put the new everything in it, new roofs, new systems, hot water heaters, heating and cooling, the whole deal. So at the end of the day, you need to get that number out of it because that helps everyone in the neighborhood.
I do. And the neighbors usually, at first they hate me because they hear I'm an investor. So they think I'm going to like get it, rent it out, and have some terrible tenants, right, that they've had. And I literally just had a conversation with one lady in Royal Oak the other day. She says there's weeds growing and this and that. I said tomorrow my guys will be here and clean up the property. She says, yeah, you investors, this. And I said, ma'am, you can hate me now, you'll love me later. I said, when I sell this house across the street for $250,000, I said, you'll love what it does to your value. I've said it many, many times, and it happens. Absolutely. I've been pulling top numbers. But then that leads into possible appraisal issues when you're pulling the top dollar per price per square foot in the area.
Kevin and I set a new record in a St. Clair Shores neighborhood by a long shot.
Okay,
there's a house across the street sold for $144,500. We sold ours for $185,000.
Is that the Benjamin one or
that was California? Yeah.
Sorry.
But it's the same thing. The neighbor came over and I'm moving, and you're going to sell it. And it's at the end of the day. And I think we had some static up front with the basic investor issue. What are you doing next door?
Yeah.
And now this person,
and then you start seeing the neighbors' houses pop up for sale after mine sells.
Yeah. Well, you remember
it's a good thing. I mean, it's good for the market, good for the area.
Was it 2 months before we did 19921? Well, I guess I should probably skip this. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But that was a basic, basically a record for that size house. I just saw yesterday a neighboring house sell for a little bit more. So I mean, it brought between those couple of sales, they're only a few blocks apart. I mean, we put $20,000-$30,000 in equity in everybody's pocket, easy.
Right. You might not see it now. It's a lot going on out there in the mortgage and real estate world. We're seeing the first-time home buyers definitely have a little bit of trouble because they're getting outpriced in these neighborhoods.
It's very true.
When we come back, let's talk about all of that. We're going to talk about some mortgage rates, getting your offer accepted. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed, alongside of me, Harry Glantz.
Morning, everybody. How you doing today, Harv?
Fantastic. Hey, Harry, what's going on? A gorgeous day outside, 88 and sunny, and we got lots of energy here in Southeast Michigan. We bring in, of course, Peter Zook from Capital Mortgage, and good morning to you, Pete.
Hello. How you doing?
There you are, Pete. Hey, Tony Holquin from Gap Realty. Tony, you're making your second appearance. Welcome back.
Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate you guys having me back again.
So, Harvey, you got to love Tony, right? Earlier in the week, he emails us, everybody, if you're watching on Facebook Live, here it is. He emails us a bunch of stuff he wants to talk about. He comes in prepared.
Yeah, he's got to go.
He loves being on the show. He did a great job last time. So welcome back, my man.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Tony, sometimes after 18 and a half years, we're going to our 19th year if they let us sign up again to do the show. I sometimes, I leave the show and I want to give as much information to listening audience. And this week, it was like at the beginning of the week, I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep doing this. And then a customer came in and they sat down and we did it the old-fashioned way. And it reminded me of how the old-fashioned way still works today, and it works best for all clients. They really wanted to learn what they were doing, what they were signing, the process A to Z. And I know that's one of the things that, Tony, that you and I probably would hit best on is definitely working with the clients the old-fashioned way, sitting them down and teaching them how to buy a house and being successful.
That is the best way, in my opinion. You always need to sit down and do a needs and wants list. Explain to them the market. Explain to them what they're up against, what to expect, what not to expect. be able to coach them through it. Talk to them about some different things regarding financing, different things regarding some of the other features and neighborhoods and stuff. What the neighborhoods have the offer that they're looking for, and just be a consultant to them.
Right.
You know, I think that there's nothing wrong with sitting down with people face to face and going over it because, see, we can't take it for granted, or maybe we do. We take it for granted that we do this all day, every day of the year. Yes, now, when people buy a house and they get a mortgage, on average, they get it every about 7 years, right? So, you know, they're doing it maybe once, twice, 3 times in their entire lives. They're making that move, and we do it every day. So I believe to sit down in front of somebody. Now, there's nothing wrong with gathering information and emailing and texting and, you know, going over that kind of thing, and it's fine. But you really need, if you are an inexperienced first-time home buyer, especially, gentlemen, you've got to sit down with somebody and you have to go over it. And there's a hand-holding process through all the disclosures. Now, look, on a real estate purchase agreement, they're 4, 5, 6 pages long.
Everything in between. 97.1, The Ticket.
Welcome back to the show, 9:18. A gorgeous day out there. That's right, we're out there at the Dream Cruise. Coming up after us, you're going to have Pat Caputo, Dan Leach. They're going to be talking cars, sports, a little bit of social commentary always with those guys. 248-539-9797. Come and join the Hardcore Mortgage Show. We are brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. I'm Harvey Freed. Of course, James Lutz filling in for Harry Glanz. He brought in a great staff, Ian Mason, Kevin McClellan, who does like the rehab guy here on the east side, does a lot of great stuff. Hey, as you guys know, mortgage rates still at all-time lows. The 10-year yield started on Monday, sort of ended with the same numbers on Friday. Very little change in mortgage rates. If you look at the last 2 months, very little change. The geopolitical events that we thought were going to creep into the market and rally the bond, pretty quiet week last night for Turkey and China and some other worldly things. It's nice when things are quiet. And of course, with the unemployment figures being so low, yeah, you're going to see rates probably bump up. Of course, that's what the talk of the Fed is, that look for another 1 or 2 bumps in the Fed funds rate. However, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to drive up the mortgage interest rates. We've seen a couple bumps, and it's been generally pretty flat.
True.
All right, if you want to join the show, 248-539-9797. I threw it out there, and I've got a buddy, my buddy Scott, selling his house, and sure enough, he's got it listed, and he did a price reduction. His agent did mention to him, maybe, hey, look, it's gorgeous, the bones are solid, it's got a new roof, it's got some great stuff, but it's got that kitchen with the Formica, and it hasn't been repainted. It's probably, do you spend the extra $10,000? I throw it out there, Ian. It's scary business to me. Do you spend the extra $10,000 because you think you're going to net an extra $15,000? Do you spend 10 to get 15? Where's that fine line, and can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Most people are surprised by it. Everybody wants to do something to participate in selling their home, and I appreciate that. But most often, my advisement is no. In my eyes, clean, safe, and functional, or a balance of the three, is really where you need to be. Obviously, if there's something that's going to flag like an FHA issue, of course, under the 300 mark or what have you, but or maybe something that would actually flag a conventional, which would be rare there. But either way, something of that sort, of course, you need to fix it. But when it comes to cosmetics, countertops, cabinets, carpeting, clean, safe, and functional. So, I mean, if your carpet's got, pet stains in it, then that's not clean. Yeah, you probably need to replace it.
This house has all those things, and I like that you comment on it. Cleans, it's safe. It's fine. Let the people that are going to buy it, they have to have a little vision. They also might want to put their own colors and pick out their own granite. So go and look at that house. Maybe if it's a little over your budget, you can always make an offer.
That's right. Some of this probably seems a little bit contrary to like what Kevin does, because his places are knockout, and they have Carrara marble or quartz and all that stuff. But for the average homeowner, they're paying a retail price to have that stuff installed. They're paying a retail price to purchase the material. And by basic numbers, you're going to get 30, 40 cents on a dollar back. It's just not, it's a misconception. As goofy as it is, and it's probably hard to understand, if you read the data on it, they say the only thing that'll return more than $1 you spend on it is insulation. And it returns like $1.16 per dollar that you spend. And
it comes down to funds too, right? Whether your seller has the funds to put in the house.
Of course. I mean, you have to be able to afford to do that. But, and it's hard to prove this on paper realistically, but let's call it a $20,000, well, in a house like that, it's probably more. Call it a $30,000, $40,000 kitchen remodel. By numbers and data and National Association of Realtors statistics, that $30,000 or $40,000 kitchen's only worth 10 or 15 grand in value.
All right, we want to hear from you all morning long. 921. What a gorgeous weekend here in Michigan. Yeah, 1 million people cruising up and down Woodward. You don't think this is the place to live? Let me definitely tell you it is. I was out in Arizona. That heat is brutal out there.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll tell you, when I came back here and everything's green, look, we're going to have a tough winter again, but we're tough. We can handle it. And I'll tell you, if you enjoy all 4 seasons, this is the place to live. What a great opportunity for families to either sell their house in today's marketplace with the lack of inventory, or again, move up. If you're going to sell, maybe move up or downsize a little bit. Change your lifestyle. Maybe move to that downtown area or out to the sticks a little bit and get some acreage. It's always A to Z with me. I met a guy this week. He's like, Harvey, I don't want that downtown. I want 20 acres, and that's what he's looking for. So everyone's got their criteria.
Should be easy. Everybody else is headed the other way.
Right. Everyone else is going the other way for sure. Home purchases are definitely going to close out the summer pretty strong. Heading into the fall, we've got so many great programs at Capital Mortgage, 3% down conventional loans across the board, FHA loans, James, where we've done these since we've been in the industry.
Yep.
So many families with the opportunities to maybe use a little bit of seller's concessions. And you and I were talking about them. We've done more and more of the MSHDA loans. So for families out there, and I'm going to have an appointment this afternoon, MSHDA loans, the state of Michigan State Housing Development Authority, you're on the list. I haven't done one in 6 months. I'm not on the list. And
you need to get on the list, Harvey.
I got to get on the list, but definitely call Capital Mortgage Fund, and we handle this for you. If you're working with, it used to be an opportunity, and you could agree with this one, where sellers were willing to pitch in the $5,000 to $7,000 for sellers' concessions, whatever it was, 3% or 6%, whatever that number was, to make a deal happen. But nowadays, with the lack of inventory, it's making it that much more difficult for that buyer with lack of funds to get into the house. So the MSHDA program steps in and gives you the down payment assistance up to $7,500. What a deal.
That's, as far as concessions are a tough subject. Are you competing against another offer or not? It's I can't believe how many times you get beat out with cash offers right now. Even in the lower price range. It's amazing how many people are buying, say East Point homes for $85,000, $90,000 cash. Definitely looking towards programs like MSHDA and things like that are if they qualify, looks better in the offer process actually than concessions.
Yeah, and it's a great solid loan. I think that some agents are afraid of it if they see it on the approval letter. You have nothing to worry about.
Not afraid of it if you're on the pre-approval. You just take care of it.
In general,
goes behind the scenes.
The agent and the seller should have zero to worry about. It's just like a standard FHA loan.
Right.
I've sold a couple of my houses to MSHDA buyers. It added about a week to the process.
At most. Yeah,
nothing crazy.
It's standard, straightforward. They have their extra little guidelines because it's state-funded money, and so we meet all the FHA guidelines. And as long as you meet a couple of little MSHDA rules, you're solid. You're good. The one thing that I will advise, though, is make sure that you really dig into and talk about MSHDA, what it is, the upsides, downsides. You don't want to just push somebody into MSHDA unknowingly, not educated, because it's a grant. I mean, it's kind of looked at as free money, but it's not.
Quiet second mortgage that one day has to be paid back
on your property. Mm-hmm. As long as people understand that, you got to educate them. You don't want to throw it at them, and then later on they try to move, refinance, and then they're like, well, I didn't know I had to. It's just a lack of education. So
you said the word education. I had to flip back over to page 1 as I write it every day, every Friday on the show when I'm writing the outline out. More and more of my clients, I'm seeing face-to-face. The client, I don't care who it is, the clients that meet me, whether they're buying a $500,000 house or a $150,000 house, those clients that meet me in person and we do the Q&A and it's back and forth communication, always, I'm telling you, and I've got 27 years experience, have a better process, have a better experience. They know what they're expecting when they go into a transaction. Nothing will ever replace communication and really educating borrowers. I think that knowledge gives you the confidence. I'm the one who put those words together. 3 years ago, when we said, when everyone was trying to dummy you down, if you watch some program and they say, click a button here, that's all nonsense. We have that. But, we have all those programs.
Yeah, we have the quick online application. But you know what else we do?
For some.
We follow it up with a personal phone call, personal meeting. It's not just an online application and then send them out into the, the world trying to buy a house. No, do your application, yes, because I need your information in order to get a file going to know what I'm working with. And once I review it and know what I have, we're going to meet, we're going to talk, we're going to go over that again and again and again until they have the best understanding and they're comfortable.
Don't do yourself a disservice by not getting that information, that's for sure. You're chasing an eighth on interest rate, and then you end up paying an extra $1,500 on closing costs. We see it every day, folks. I'll tell you, that music says we're up against a quick break. You got to give us a call, 248-539-9797. We'll be back.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All right, welcome back to the show. 248-539-9797. Right here on the ticket. You've got to tune to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show in our 18th plus season, giving you lots of great information. If you're looking to buy a house, call Capital Mortgage Funding or give us a call here on the show. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage bank, or you get a real approval. Really educate yourself on that home purchase. It makes it really fun, and I think like purchasing a house should be a lot of fun, especially when you're spending 6 digits or more to what's going on typically out there. Harry, there's a lot going out there in the world of marketing. Of course, we do this radio show. Everyone wants to be a radio star lately. We see the Facebook Live. We're on it. We're seeing when we open up our Facebook, we're seeing a lot of selfies and some really cool stuff out there. I like when I see the real estate agents are at the house and they're walking around. Some of it's really cool. On the other hand, though, I know everyone wants to be a superstar and show off their family and all those great things. But at the end of the day, Tony, I want to hire the person who's most qualified to educate me about that home purchase. And as much as I appreciate it, and I get a little bit of noticeability out there in the world in regards to someone might see me or listen to the show. At the end of the day, I hope you come with me because I'm sharing some great information with you. And I think that's the key in mortgages or real estate is educating the borrower and the buyer so that they're doing the right things.
It most definitely is. Technology is fantastic and it's changed the way we've done business, but it's still not a substitute for good customer service.
Yeah, but you're talking about this, Harvey. You're talking about marketing and we like all the fun marketing and the good ideas that come about. But you understand that people are getting mass mailers and emails all day, every day that are not legitimate.
Right.
All right, so there's letters that you're going to get to your house. It looks like it's legitimate. It might even reference your current lender. It might even say Capital Mortgage Funding on it. You need to call us or your lender because if it doesn't come from us or your lender and just references it, they're trying to get you to do something and spend your money and write them a check that is not legitimate.
Giants in the short end of a 30-17 decision at Ford Field in the home exhibition opener against the New York Giants. Davis Webb took advantage of his opportunity to play for Eli Manning, who did not play. Webb was 14 of 20 for $140 with a touchdown pass. Also not playing was number 1 draft pick of the Giants, running back Saquon Barkley, sent out with a hamstring. Matt Stafford did play for the Lions, going 2 of 5 for 52 yards. Jake Rudock came in and moved the offense down the field a bit, but Matt Patricia says we have to do better in the execution.
You know, our execution's got to be better overall, and, you know, some of those situations, you know, there's different facets to those plays, you know, so it might be a little bit of a different circumstance than just maybe looking at just the protection. So I think we got to, you know, again, go back and really try to improve and get better. Obviously didn't perform very well, and, you know, it's going to start with the coaching, and I got to do a better job.
Tiger baseball losers at Minnesota 5-4. Tigers and Twins today 7-10 from Minnesota right here on 97.1 The Ticket. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 971theticket.com.
The only way you can take 97.1 The Ticket with you is the radio.com app. Download it today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
97.1 The Ticket.
All right, welcome back to the show. You're listening to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Call us all week long, all weekend long. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. You can also shoot us an email at mortgage.show@lowrateonline.com. If that's hard, go to Capital Mortgage's page. Check us out on Facebook Live. That's always a cool one, too. We're getting up to about 3,000 viewers on there. If you do view the show, send us a comment. We'll always get back to you, and really appreciate all the listening audience out there. Again, 248-539-9797 right here in the studio. Some great guys in here. Ian Mason, who just does a ton of business on the east side. Kevin McClellan, who fixes up, I think, every house and really makes it great. Kevin's got a reputation. If you see one of his houses, like, you're making offers immediately. So really cool stuff out there. And we were just talking about the face-to-face interview, and, you know, people are calling around chasing an 1/8%. So I wrote down some numbers, and if you guys want to jump in with this, what does an 1/8% mean on $100,000? You know, an 1/8% 0.125 on your interest rate. So whether your interest rate's 4.625 or 4 3/4, $8.
Yeah,
$8 on a 30-year. So you got, then if you're borrowing $200,000 on an 1/8, now you got 16. And of course, if you're better yet, if the rate goes up even more, you just keep timesing it over. But rates, generally speaking, if they've gone up 0.5%, maybe it's costing you $60 to about $80 more, and that's what we saw over the last 12 months here.
Yeah, well, we've been battling and fighting because rates have been going up, so it's a very competitive market out there. And people think I would love to tell you how important it is to not chase and worry about the rate quite as much. Worry about the personal service. Worry about closing your transaction.
You're never going to notice that rate again.
No.
The $8 difference, the $10 difference, $12, it's not
how about you work with the wrong lender or the wrong agent?
Exactly.
You spend $400 on inspection, $400 on an appraisal, and because your loan officer didn't know what they were doing, like I just had happen on one of my houses I'm trying to sell.
Kevin, I'm glad you brought up the anger.
40, yeah, sorry, but I had to jump in. You know, we're 48 days in, and, you know, another condition pops up, and another condition pops up. And, like, I just know that wouldn't happen with you guys. So I cringe when I get offers on my properties and I got to sift through them, and I pick the wrong one. And I'm kind of going through it right now, unfortunately.
No, we appreciate the good feedback anyways, definitely. So what does an 1/8 mean? And like you said, at the end of the day, it's good. Save money by calling Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE. That's easy enough. You are going to save money and deal with some local lenders here. And I think that's a great place to start for a lot of families, is just deal locally here. Keep the money in Southeast Michigan, across our great state, and that's going to help you a lot better than dealing with outside people. Hey, another thing coming up, of course, is the cash out refinances. Tons and tons of equity, $1 trillion across the United States. Ian, as you know, you were selling families homes for the last several years. And what you bought in 2012, what you bought in 2014, wow, it sounds like it was yesterday. It's 4 years ago. You've got a ton of equity built in your house. It's timing in life a lot of times.
I'm listing a very nice home in East Point Tuesday night. They paid $26,000 for it. Forgive me, I forget the year, but call it 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll sell it in a couple of days for $125,000. It's amazing for those folks who are able to take advantage of that.
It's a beautiful thing. I'm getting the repeat buyers, people that bought 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm watching them sell for a huge profit and buying a nicer home these days, and it's it's a good thing because obviously I'm getting another repeat
You could have bought
customer, but-
anything 5-6 years ago, sat on it, paid the taxes, boarded it up, and you double your money by this point.
I just did the same thing. I mean, I just sold my house in Harper Woods.
Yeah, let's talk about your situation. It's really interesting
Didn't I
to
sell
watch.
that house before?
Yeah, you almost did. That's how we met, and that's how we met. And I'm so glad that
Tell
you
us a
brought
quick,
people
if you
through.
could tell us your quick little story. I like
Yeah,
it.
because my story relates to everybody. I'm a normal guy, and the situation I'm in right now is the situation that many buyers and families have been in and will go through. And so, for example, I sold my house because I found a nicer one over by family, and so I purchased that one contingent. Then it took about 12 hours to sell my house, and I sold it, and I took my 30 days occupancy, and we just had a baby on the 9th, and the house that I'm buying needed a lot of work, so I've been there every day working 12 hours a day trying to get the place ready for the family, and we're up against the clock. We're going to be out in a week and a half of our current home, and the other one's not going to be ready, so here I am. I'm going to be living with a family for a few weeks.
You know what?
It's just part of life, you know?
Look, it is part of life. It's a couple weeks of a hassle. At the end of the day, you've got this great, larger house for your family. Just congratulations,
Thank
of
you.
course.
Thank you.
James just had another baby boy, has a baby girl already. And, as families are growing, you needed a little bit bigger house. You're able to move to an area that would work better for you, better school district, let's say, closer to family.
Closer to the daughter's school, closer to family. I mean, everything about the purchase, everything about it was a godsend. It worked out perfect and just a lot of positives. The only negative is it's a lot of work that I'm putting in myself.
You got it.
And
Okay.
we're going to be, again, probably out of a home for a week or two, which is going to be a little stressful with
You'll
a new
get through
kid.
it.
And, yeah, exactly.
Oh, so you sacrifice a little bit. It is
Absolutely. and I don't, put
Gotta be
the
willing to do
blame or stress on anyone other than myself. Which I went to the doctor yesterday. The first time in my life, I have high blood pressure. Weird.
I'm glad you guys, you're way younger than me. You guys have anxiety, got high blood pressure. You know what? You're going to make me sleep a little bit easier than that. I
try flipping
that.
20 houses a year. See how high your blood pressure goes. Deal with these contractors.
I know, man.
I'm glad you brought that up. Just let's talk about this a little bit. Continuing trend of smaller houses, new family home size decreased again in the second quarter. The new average now, I think it went down 9.17%. The decrease from the square footage seems like because the builders, the big builders, they're the ones generally building the infill builders. Again, they're doing onesies and up to 1 to 25 homes a year. A little bit different than when the big builders build whole subdivisions, 1,600 square feet to about 23. Now the average square footage of the new construction, 2344. What are you seeing out there? I mean, you go into these houses, you are seeing the builders are moving to the smaller homes.
Yeah, I think that comes down to lifestyle too, and what happened with the credit crunch and the bust that we had in the market years ago is people were living for their home. They were buying as much home as possible. They wanted the 3,000 square foot home, and now they want the 15 to 18,000 square foot home. I'm sure you're seeing that in
existing home sales. It's real similar. I mean, in the bigger price range, bigger homes, I see price reduction. But down in the 150 range.
In general, the buyers want an affordable home. They're living a little more economical after they got burned. A lot of these buyers
they learned their lesson,
and I'm sure you've seen it, James, with your clients that the people got burned 7 to 10 years ago. Their credit's repaired. They're back in the market for a property. Mm-hmm. They had bought that 3,500 square foot home. They went house broke, and now they're like, just give us 1,700 square feet, and we're gonna take vacations, nice cars, and live a.
Right, walk the dog down the street and maybe get to that, downtown city. Hey, let's take our first call here. We got some action on the lines now. 248-539-9797. Do you want to join the show? Hey, Mike out in Gibraltar. Good morning. Welcome to our show.
Good. How are you?
Real good. What's happening?
Nothing. I just have a question. I built a house in 91. I have 8 more payments, and I'll have the house paid off.
Beautiful.
I took out a equity loan probably 13 years ago. The house is worth about $360, and I took out about $60,000 13 years ago. I've got it down to $38,000. I'm just wondering what my next move would be 8 months from now when the house is paid off.
Well, it sounds good. Congratulations. Your move will be no more house payment to the to the lender. You're going to save money on stamps. That's for sure.
No doubt.
Do you need to? What do you got else going in life? You have no other debts out there, as your debts are all cleaned up, and you're not paying any.
Well, I mean, as far as credit card, I probably have $7,000 in credit card. I'm just wondering if I should put everything together, and then because I really don't want another mortgage, but I'm still working. I'm 61. And I'm not ready to retire yet. So,
Well, I'll tell you, if you got high interest credit cards and they're not that much of a payment, I would take advantage of the interest rates. Take it, consolidate. Just don't make the bad move that other people make when they pay off their credit cards with a home refinance. Don't go rack your credit cards up again, and you're in a good spot. And
Yeah, correct. Well, I mean, when I go to retire, I want everything paid off anyway. So I just want to kind of, with the house payment, it's about $1,300 a month. But most of that, when I retire, I'm going to start putting more into my my IRA. So
Mike, it sounds like you've done a lot of great things, over the years. As James mentioned, paying off any of the debt out there. Why not just get completely rid of it? Why pay any interest to the credit card companies out there? And more importantly, take care of that house. Kevin, insulation goes a long way. Do those things that you want to do so that in the next 25 years you don't have to worry about it. Plus, it can be economical for you to do some home improvements, whether it be new insulation or something of that nature.
Okay, well, I bet when I built, it's like 6-inch walls. All my insulation is good. I've already put in new windows. I got a new roof, new furnace. I mean, everything. My only thing is the house is mostly cedar, and the wife, she keeps bugging me about. She wants to button it up so we don't have nothing to do later because I've been staining it probably for the last. I stain it probably every 5 to 7 years, but nothing's rotted.
Do you plan on staying where you're at, Mike? I mean, what's your long-term plan?
I'm not sure. The wife's already retired, and I mean the house is 3,000 square foot. And me, I would like to downsize because there's just me and her. But she likes where we're at. So
I mean, 8 months from now, it sounds like you're in an absolutely perfect situation. The house is paid off. You have an asset worth $300,000. You could sell it. Downsize, put a ton of cash in the bank, invest it, buy some rental property, some passive income. I mean, you're in one heck of a spot.
Use that profit to pay those cards off.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of good. You have the greatest problems to deal with ever.
You're right. Okay.
Hey, you're doing a great thing.
Maybe down the line here, I'll give you guys a call and then we can talk. It's kind of better. I like talking in person instead of on the phone all the time.
Yep.
So, all right, I appreciate it. Appreciate the input, and you guys have a great day.
Well, thanks
you too,
Mike.
Mike.
Appreciate that. All right, Mike, great call. 248-539-9797. Hey, no problem at all, Mike. We'll follow up with you. I'll send James down there. You'll go and talk to him.
I'd love
check out
to go
this
to
sweet
Gibraltar,
house.
yeah.
Check out a cedar house. I haven't seen something like that every day. 248-539-9797. When we come back, all of your calls.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All righty, welcome back to the show. What a gorgeous day out there. Summer here in Michigan. Get out on the golf course, hit the links. Definitely do a little boating today. I think I'm going to do a Sylvan or Cass. I got a choice today, and a little salute to all the boaters out there. Be safe. Put those life jackets on the kids, and take it easy on the booze. That's for sure.
What do you take it easy? Just don't do it.
Well,
What do you take it easy? What do you throw booze on a boat with kids on the back? That's a recipe. That's a recipe for success, right?
248-539-9797. We brought in Tony Holquin from Gap Realty down in Southgate. Tony, been around the Downriver area forever. We're taking all your calls again, 248-539-9797. And in fact, if my keyboard gear guy sees me, let's go to the call on caller number right out there, Tom from Sterling Heights. Good morning, Tom. Welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me on, guys. Love the show.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
What do you got going on, Tom? You said you got a refi on maybe a veteran's VA loan.
Right. Well, I actually do need to refinance, and I just happened to, recently, this past week or two, I've been getting a lot of calls from, being cold called and being asked if I want to refinance because the VA loan or VA guidelines have changed, and I didn't really look into it, and I didn't know if that was even true.
Yeah,
if anything has changed with the VA loan.
See, what's going on is that they pulled your documents from the county, the recorded document. They saw that you have a VA loan. Right. So the big thing right now is they're cold calling all of the VA loans right now to try to put you on an interest rate reduction loan. It's a VA IRRRL, it's called. And I think, I'm glad that you're doing your homework. I'm glad that you're collecting all your information. And we certainly can be part of that and put us on your matrix and let us give you the best offer we can do, and we'll take care of it.
Yeah.
It's something we do very well. We have 2 VA specialists in our office, and we certainly can go ahead and when I say VA specialists, we have more than 2 people that do loans, obviously. But we have people that specialize in certain kind of loans that are experts on those loans, so you're going to get very well taken care of. And we just want to make sure that we give you the accurate information.
Did something change with the VA loan, or no?
No,
or
it didn't. When you say
reduction?
No, it didn't. It didn't change. They're just bringing it now out into the light where people are trying to capitalize on the, getting people refinanced on the VA transaction.
Can take 97.1 The Ticket with you is the radio.com app. Download it today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
97.1 The Ticket.
That's right, folks. The Wilbur Dream Cruise is going on right now. Get on out there. We got 97.1 broadcasting live all day. Check us out on what we're there. I know I'm getting mixed. Someone said it's at a Coney. We're at McDonald's. You guys will fill in with me here or something. Tell me where we're at, the actual booth. But call us at 248-539-9797. We'll answer all your questions. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage bank. Or also live here in the studio, 248-539-9797. I'm Harvey Freed, James Lutz from our office. We got Kevin McClellan and Ian Mason, great real estate guys out on the east side. Hey, let's go to some calls. We got Joe calling in from East Point. Joe, good morning. Welcome to our show.
Good morning. Good morning. My question is credit card debt, and maybe as it relates to your home and other property. My question is credit card debt, as I've always understood, unsecured debt, not secured by your car or your house or your kids or your bicycle, but unsecured. Granted, based on your credit worthiness at the time you get the card or the credit.
Yes. I'm good with all that. Keep going. What else?
Yes, it's unsecured.
Yes, it's unsecured debt. You go to the department store, you buy miscellaneous, you go to all these big box stores, you spend a lot. I just spend a lot of money, and it's on my credit card, and I got the bill yesterday, and if I don't pay the thing off, whatever, if I don't pay the balance, $2,000-$3,000, then they're hitting me with that interest rate, and those interest rates are pretty high. I mean, it looks like 15% on my card. I don't even look. I pay it off every month, or at least I'm going to try to this month.
Yeah, actually, the interest rates are, there's a word called usurious.
Right.
Based on extreme greed. But my point is, let's say you don't pay your credit card, let's say you just stop making payments, can they come and get your house? Can they come and get your car?
No. Only the mortgage, of course, would be a lien on the property. And items that are lien, James, of course, then they can foreclose on. You want to comment on that at all, James?
Yeah, no, your credit's just going to go. It's going to hit your credit if you stop paying your bills.
Yeah, I've had that happen.
So in other words, you're saying that credit card debt is not unsecured if they can come after your house or your car.
Well, I think what happens, Joe, is they eventually, if you don't pay it, it's like any other debt, they'll get a judgment against you.
Default judgment.
Default judgment. They'll put a lien against any assets that you own. You go to sell that property, they want to take that.
Well, then that means it is secured. Then if they can, could they come after, say, a Social Security check or a retirement fund
from not paying a credit card, right?
Yeah.
No. They're not going to come after any of your retirement.
They'd
They're
have
not
to
going to come
win
after
a
your house, your
lawsuit
car,
and get a default
You're just
judgment.
going to get a collection on your credit report. Your credit score is going to take a hit, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, people file bankruptcy all the time, and usually it's due to overspending, or again.
Well, yeah, that all that I understand. My thing has always been, and I can't really get a straight answer. I guess ever, is it unsecured or is it not unsecured? If you don't pay it, let's say you just quit paying, how
are you thinking about stopping paying your credit card?
Yeah, let's just say you stop paying it, and then can they come after you as your car, your house, and so on?
Yeah, I think
The answer is no.
It's probably a bit of semantics, Joe, in terms of secured versus unsecured. Technically, it's probably secure to answer your question because they're not just going to say, Joe didn't pay $7,000 in credit card debt. That's all right. We like Joe a lot. He was a nice guy. They're going to probably most likely get a judgment against you and put a lien on something that you own. So to answer your question, it most likely is somewhat secured.
Hey, Joe, we'll let you go on that one. 248-539-9797 if you want to join the show. We've got another 10 minutes or so.
Hey, real quick, I do want to give a big shout out. I got some good friends, the future Ruben and Tara Booms. They're getting married tonight. I'm not able to make the wedding, so I want to give you guys my blessing, a lot of love, and I hope everything goes good for you guys tonight.
Yeah,
so,
who is that again, James?
Ruben and Tara Booms. They're getting married up in Harbor Beach.
Oh, outstanding. Congratulations to some friends. That's a bummer you can't make it. Well, like you said, only a baby and a house
Yeah,
thing
I'm missing
and everything.
3 weddings and a bachelor party over the next 30 days. So.
Well, we're doing shout-outs. I'm going to give a shout-out to my buddy contractor, Bob Berg. Had some medical issues, was in the hospital, and he's on the recovery. So I love you, Bob. Hope you're doing all right.
Prayers for Bob.
Hey, you guys are doing it all right now. Go ahead and say you have your mom. We got everything at birthday.
I know, right?
That's all good. 248-539-9797. Definitely, as we talk about, when we bring Kevin and we talk about remodeling, of course, Ian's on the real estate side. Remodeling, always understanding your budget. What we see here is 50% of the homes were built before 1980. The average age of a home out there is 37 years old. Kevin, you're going into these houses. I mean, some of these things haven't been touched since the 30s or 40s.
Yeah, it makes it very, very tough. I mean, I just went through one that was an absolute disaster, built in 1940. When you say that, you don't realize the house is almost 80 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. And the building code back then, I don't know if there were building codes. All right. When you buy that house, that's the homeowner special. When you talk to the daughter and says, my dad just did everything right. And I mean, he just built this with his bare hands. I'm thinking this house is going to be solid, nice, built right. We opened up 2 walls, and I mean, it looked like a jigsaw puzzle. The way the beams and everything was put together. So I ended up having to put $75,000 in a home that I thought I was going to put 40 into.
Yeah, the house I bought was previously owned original owners from the beginning, and it was a Big 3 engineer. And you should see the electric. I mean, the stuff that he engineered himself in the house. I had the plumber and the electrician, and they just kind of walked around shaking their head, going, "Man, that was out of code in the '70s."
Yeah, I love it when a seller tells me I redid it all. I'm like, man, I'm going to have to rip all of it out.
Yeah, right. You're going to get your 1 out of 10 guys that really goes in there. Again, a licensed electrician, of course, he can fix up his house and put a new panel in and rewire the whole house. But the do-it-yourselfers, not always, and it's very important to get the proper inspections, as we always talk about, proper inspections done in the home, and you have time to get these inspections done, and that comes into the play a lot with how much time there is around when you get the offer accepted. You have 7 to 10 days. You're usually able. It's harder and harder to get professionals out there.
Sensitive topic. When you're about to get an offer accepted, you need to be on the phone with your home inspector and try to keep it short. These days, anyway. I mean, you got to compete. There's no
7-day
3 days is pushing it. I get
exactly.
it. It's difficult to get a guy scheduled inside of 3 days, but 5 should be enough, and you should take the day off work and get it done.
Yep.
This 7, 10, 14-day business is nonsense.
Look, if you're in a bidding situation, your home, if you already outbid everyone else, if you have a few extra dollars and we're going to fix up the house, if the furnace is shot, and you didn't have it inspected, well, be prepared. Obviously, you can eyeball it. Your agents should be professional enough.
Open it up. Take a look at the tag. You look for an ANSI code. See if there isn't a manufacturer date on it. Kneel down. Look at the hot water tank.
You just separated yourself.
There's got to be a tag on it.
Hold it. You just separated yourself from 95% of the real estate agents. You just said something about a furnace. What was that?
ANSI code. So if in lieu of a manufacturer date stamped into the tag on the inside of the furnace or the side of it, look for an ANSI code. Those codes typically last for 4 to 6 years. So at least you can kind of eyeball what it is. If the ANSI code is 2002, then your furnace is likely to be between 2002 and, say, 2008.
You call a heating and cooling professional. Most of them now have a little bit of time. At the beginning of summer, it was the scramble because no one's AC is working. They're getting caught up now. They're starting to do their winter inspections on the furnaces now, between now rolling into the winter time. You can probably call a heating and cooling guy, pay $75 to $100 and have a professional inspection done on your
Usually that inspection is $75. A lot of guys will do it. They'll come out, check it for carbon monoxide,
Just did it with my Harper Woods home sale that they require him to come out. It's easy.
Take an honest look at the furnace. Has it been cleaned, or is it full of dust? Has it got is there cobwebs? Is the bottom of it rusty? It's some of it is visual. I mean, the useful lifespan of a furnace is something like 20 years.
Yeah.
there's plenty of them that last 30 and 40 if you
Let's
take care
roll
of
off to Chris out there in Royal Oak. Hey, Chris, good morning. Welcome to our show. Chris, you there?
Hi, guys.
There you are.
Yes, I'm here. So, thanks for taking my call. I just had a real quick question. I'll get off the phone with you guys. I got a bit of a strange scenario. Me and my wife are both Canadians. We just moved to the U.S., to the Royal Oak area. We're looking at getting a house. My wife's a medical resident.
Mm-hmm.
I will also work in the healthcare field. I was just curious what kind of products you guys offer for someone in my scenario who doesn't have much credit history in the U.S. In terms of physicians' loans or something a bit kind of flexible for a situation like ours.
Well, we offer. There's international credit reports, and then also what's your citizenship here? Is it like an H-1 visa? What do you have now?
I've got a TN. My wife's on an H-1B.
I think that will allow her. And is she under contract at the hospital yet?
Yeah, she's under like a yearly contract for her residency.
It sounds like effective income could be used there. I'd like to dig in a little bit more and find out, of course, off there it's a little bit longer. I need to find out a little bit more about your credit situation and then what your citizenship is here. And I think that you guys would probably qualify for something. So, I mean, I definitely have to dig into it a little bit. I'm not sure about what you had mentioned in regards to your citizenship. Are you guys planning on staying here? This is it?
That's the plan, yeah.
Are you planning on also switching your citizenship in years later, or maybe just being a dual citizen of some sort?
Probably a dual citizen of some sort. Yeah. I mean, I know the green card process is a little hard for us right now, especially things are kind of in limbo. But, yeah, that's the plan, to stay here for sure.
Well, congratulations to you guys. I mean, you're definitely in the right areas. You're looking to move to the Royal Oak area. Where'd she say she was working at the Beaumont?
Yeah, she's at Beaumont right now.
All righty. That's great stuff. Well, congratulations to you and your family. We're going to follow up with you. We'll call you after the show, and we'll dig in a little bit deeper to find out what we can do to get you a strong approval letter if you guys want to become homeowners. That's awesome, and congratulations to your young family. Congrats.
Awesome. Thanks for the help, guys.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate that phone call. Hey, 248-539-9797. If you ever have any questions about mortgages, be sure to call Capital Mortgage at 1-800-LOW-RATE. Guys, that music saying, I got to get you out of here.
Oh, that's it.
You guys are awesome as always. Kevin McClellan, aficionado when it comes to fixing up homes. Give us a call. We'll get you set up with Kevin. Ian Mason out on the east side. Ian, always a pleasure to have you on the show. We'll get you back here in a couple of months. James, anything else?
No, man. This is the funnest, best show we've had, man. And for everyone out there in Woodward, enjoy the day. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I love that. All right, Pat Caputo, Dan Leach coming up. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We will see you next Saturday.
Thanks, guys.